What's up guys, Tyler here from SunFrog Shirts, and in this video I want to go over how to find the audience you're going to be running your traffic to. So the time is finally here. In the next 3 videos we're actually going to be going through my ad running process. So every time I run an ad on Facebook, these are the exact 3 steps that I go through. Starts with research of your audience. That's the very first thing you need to do, is find the audience you want to be running your products to. Now, a lot of people that are designing their own products do this in reverse, and they'll actually design their product first before finding an audience. The problem with that is you don't know whether or not that product is going to resonate with the audience that you go into, and you also kind of get attached to the design before you're vetting the audience. So it can cause you to do some irresponsible things with your marketing budget. So you want to find an audience and then create a design, and then the last step is creating the ad itself. So over the course of the next 3 videos, we're going to be going through the process of running an ad. So we've looked at SunFrog, we've got SunFrog set up, we've looked at the logistics of what we need to get set up with Facebook. So let's start moving forward on running our first ad. So the first thing that we'll want to do is head over to our Facebook ad manager. Now, if you're not sure how to get here and haven't installed your Facebook pixel, do be sure to check out the previous video where we go over all that and how to actually get into ad manager. Moving forward, we're just going to start an ad manager to save some time and kind of help you to hit the ground running with this. So we're in ad manager, and the first thing that I do before creating an ad or even picking a product is to find an audience to run into. Now, I've been running into the same audience for some time, but if I'm looking at a new audience or possibly a new audience segment to test, the tool that I use is Audience Insight. This is a super powerful tool. It is going to be able to help you to find people who are likely to engage with your content and even purchase. So to do that, to get to Audience Manager, again, you'll go to this drop-down menu at the top and sort out all your tools. And under Plan, you'll find Audience Insight. So I'm going to click into there, and I'll show you guys what I'm running into now because I'm very experienced with it and know that the audience that I found is proven to convert. So if you can kind of take what I'm going to show you and replicate this into your own niches and into your own audiences, then you're likely to have the same level of success that I've had with the audience that I'm running to now. So I started with a real baseline. I'm running fitness-based products, as you may have been able to tell from my page, Take Control. It's a lifestyle and kind of fitness, both mentally and physically related brand that I'm building on that page. So I wanted to run fitness-related products to members of that page in order to kind of monetize as I'm building the following on the page as well. So if you were to search something as broad as fitness and wellness, you're going to see that you have 90 million to 100 million active people in that group. Now that's a lot of people, and you may be thinking to yourself, oh, that's awesome. That's a lot of people to see my ad. Well, yes and no. The problem with an audience that broad is you're likely to get some things that don't really line up with the type of user that you're actually trying to get a hold of. And some key things that are going to tell you that you've hit the wrong audience, the audience you don't want to target, are going to be based on these page likes that you find. So we can see that some of this stuff is pretty relevant. You've got Nutra Bullet, you've got Zumba Fitness, you've got vitamins. But then if we look down here and we start to look through the actual page likes, you'll see Groupon and Dress Lily and Rose Gal. And these things aren't ideal. These aren't directly linked to people who are passionate and adamant about fitness and fitness lifestyle. And even more so, you can see by looking over at the Affinity, 1.2 times. You probably don't know what Affinity is, but this is how likely people who like these pages are to engage with content that you share. So what you're looking for is related pages that have strong relevance to your target, and you're looking for a high affinity. And if you have those 2 things, then you're very likely to get post engagement on the content you put out. It's very likely to have high relevance, and you're more likely to have sales from any of those posts that you put out. So what I'd like to do today is show you how we can refine this into a better audience before we even pick a product and run an ad. So you can see some of these other page likes here. So what you can do when you're searching an audience is to kind of take a look at some of these other page likes and see if you can grab one of those and narrow the audience down. Basically what I'm looking to do is find an audience size of about 350,000 because that's where I find kind of the highest affinity, most passionate, but still large enough audience for me to run into for a long period of time. So one really great tactic, if you don't see anything in the page links, I'm not really seeing anything here that I think I could use because the audience sizes are all pretty large, larger than I would want. One thing you can do right off the bat is using magazines, websites, and depending on what niche you're in, you can even go after TV shows or characters within a certain show or movie or something like that to try and to narrow your audience base. Now, I spent some time last year going through some Beachbody workouts, and in addition to making or helping me be more healthy, it also was really great for me to do some research. So if you know of some kind of small sub niche within the niche that you're targeting, that's a great place to start too. And that's where I went. So you could go through and you could Google top fitness magazines and probably find something pretty relevant for what you're looking for. But my personal experience through going through Beachbody, I that's where I started. I was like, well, let's try Beachbody because that'd be a little bit more narrow target in the actual fitness space. And you can see here, even that's big. It's much smaller than the actual fitness niche itself, which was like 90 million, but 3 million to 3.5 million. So there's quite a few people doing Beachbody, following Beachbody, liking Beachbody. So my page likes and my affinity, you can see, are much better. So all of these things are related to Beachbody and fitness. And my affinity, rather than being 1.1, 1.2, is in the 20s in some instances here. So here you can see that 1 is really bad if I'm able to find audiences like this. So generally, as a rule of thumb, if you can find something at about 20x, you're in the ballpark of where you need to be. Now, the higher the better, but 20 times is pretty good. And I'd like to see it on all the page likes. And for me, I'm looking at 3 million to 3.5 million and going, I probably could narrow this a little bit more. I don't need to reach that many people. Because if you can reach the right people and get conversions out of a smaller audience, it's more beneficial to you than just purely going after a large, broad target. So from here, what I did was I started looking through some of these different some of these different page likes. And Shakeology is kind of the one that stood out to me the most because I see everyone in Beachbody, whether they're actually doing the workouts or not, has Shakeology. That's where they start. It's kind of what I would call the focal point of the entire program is this drink here. So I went from Beachbody to targeting Shakeology. And now you see I have 250,000 to 300,000. This is where I really, really like to be. Now check this out. Everything still basically the same pages that we had from before, but look at this affinity. This is some crazy, crazy, crazy high affinity. You don't find this in many niches, especially this broadly across the board. We only have one dropping below 15, and we have many that are much higher than that 20x that we're looking for. So when I see something like this is, okay, I found my audience. And this is where I would be running my ads to. Now you can also further target demographics to, so like let's say you find an audience that's like 1 million. You could narrow that down a little bit by going through and segmenting out different demographics. And the way that I do this is I go through and I look at what the larger percentage of men versus women is. In this one, it's dominated 92% women. So we can rule out men right away. And then the next thing I look at is every age group that's above 10%. And I always, even if this is high, I always rule out 18 to 24 because that's typically college aged individuals who don't have a lot of disposable income. So you're likely to get a lot of engagement from this age group, but probably not many purchases. So if your goal is conversion, purchase, take out 18 to 24 automatically, and steer away from audiences that are majority that age group. So from there, we see 25 to 34, 35 to 44, and 45 to 54. These are the 3 age groups that I would target if I was looking to further segment this audience. So we would go 25 to 54. And we see it doesn't change too much because that was the primary demographic. If we go to page likes, here you can see we even brought that one that was at 15.5 up even a little bit more. So the engagement's even just a little bit better by making those tweaks. Now you probably could have left it without demographic targeting just because it was already so good. But this filters it down even a little bit more, and now it's a lean, mean audience that we can run traffic into. And that's it. That's how you find an audience on Facebook. So remember, if you're looking at a broad audience, try things like targeting magazines, targeting websites, targeting TV shows or movies or characters within, anything you can think of. This is where you kind of have to know the niche that you're marketing in. You'd have to know particular things about that niche, about those demographics, in order to be able to kind of pinpoint and find people who are really passionate about whatever it is you're targeting into. So that is the crash course on how to find an audience on Facebook. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, we will see you in the next video.